back, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest tonight is the youngest member of the United States Senate, where he represents the great state of Georgia. Please welcome to The Late Show, Senator Jon Ossoff. There you go. Welcome.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to have you here. This is your first time on a late night show.
It sure is.
Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Friendly Confines.
I am honored. Great to be here with all of you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. I want to talk to you about a speech you gave last week that got a lot of attention. Very specifically for one phrase that just made a lot of sense to a lot of people. You used this phrase, the Epstein Class. First of all, what did you mean by using that term, and why do you think that just automatically made visceral sense to so many people? Why do you think that's catching on?
I think there's a couple things going on. The first is that this whole Epstein saga has exposed the lie at the very core of Donald Trump's political project. And it's been a lie. It's been a lie since he came down the golden escalator, which is that this guy cares about or ever wanted to do anything to help working class and middle class Americans. They worked so hard to suppress all of this. They didn't want any of this to come out because Trump world is all over it and so closely connected to Jeffrey Epstein, because this is in fact a government of, by, and for the ultra-rich and the ultra-elite. And it's not just about who they are, but look at what they've done. They have cut health care in order to slash taxes for the wealthy and well-connected. People across the country are suffering, and so it just speaks to the hypocrisy of the MAGA movement and of the president. I also think there's a deeper issue here, which is that the corruption underlying Trump's rise in American politics and a class of elites who pour billions into political campaigns, who are unaccountable and who have captured our political system.
I think one of the reasons, I think all of that is true. I think all of that was true, but I think there's something even beyond that when people hear the Epstein class, because what we're finding out from the Epstein files is that that type of corruption, while Trump might be a peak avatar of that, it crosses political boundaries. There are people in the United States who believe that rules are to constrain other people, laws are to constrain other people, but never apply to them. And deep down, I think on both sides of the aisle, people have felt that for so many years, and you crystallize it with that phrase. And that leads me to the last job that you did before you were a senator. I want to get this right. You investigated international corruption?
That's right.
Is that true? Okay. What was it about witnessing corruption on a global scale that said to you, I should get involved in American politics?
So first of all, I led a team, ran a business that exposed official corruption, war crimes, abuses of power all over the world. And we worked with people who smuggled the truth out of repressive societies with authoritarian governments, places where opposition figures were rounded up and arrested, places where journalists critical of the government faced official persecution, places where television hosts had to deal with official censorship. And and I'll just say that more and more, Donald Trump's America reminds me of those places and those societies, and that should chill us all to the bone. But as for why, I think Donald Trump's rise, Donald Trump himself is a symptom of a deeper disease. in our society. I mean, how is it that a demagogue who promised to tear it all down was twice elected to the presidency on false promises? And it's because the system really is rigged. He's not unrigging it, he's re-rigging it for himself, but especially since the Citizens United decision, which was such a deeply destructive court decision.
And for the people who don't know, Citizens United said that corporations should be able to pour unlimited money into political action committees to influence elections.
Corporations, the ultra-rich, unlimited money, and in secret. And so that bent Congress against the public interest and toward narrow private interests. That is one of the reasons that even though the American economy has been in drive, life for the working class and the middle class has been in reverse. It's one of the reasons that wealth and power have become more and more unequal in our society. And that is what gave rise to someone like Donald Trump.
We have to take a quick break. We're right back with more Senator Jon Ossoff of Georgia.